This podcast is produced by the Suncoast Professional Firefighters and Paramedics, IAFF, Local 2546. It's intended for informational purposes only. The information presented in this podcast should not be considered legal, financial, or medical advice. Additionally, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the views of the host or affiliated organizations such as the International Association of Firefighters, the Florida Professional Firefighters, or any fire department, government, or governmental agency. The content of this podcast is not intended to serve as an advertisement for or endorsement of any political candidate or political party. This podcast remains the property of Suncoast Professional Firefighters and Paramedics, IAFF Local 2546, and is produced for its exclusive use. Any use, reproduction, or rebroadcast of this podcast without the written authorization from Suncoast Professional Firefighters and Paramedics, IAFF Local 2546, is strictly prohibited.
Welcome, everybody, to the 2546 Leatherhead Experience. We have a full-ass table today.
Yeah, baby.
So we'll do some introductions, and we'll end with our special guest. We got our Secretary G. Regazzi.
Vivo en directo, como le dije esta vez.
Something like that.
Yeah, I was told you I was going to do that again.
Something like that, okay. We got our man Jonathan down here at the end. Jonathan, what's your last name?
Rodriguez.
Well, shit. Mm-hmm. G's got one of his fucking people with us today.
Hermano, hey! you pitch for what team again? Okay.
Yeah. Jonathan Rodriguez from Manatee County, and
It's Jonathan.
We'll tell you why Jonathan's here today here in a second. Our new, right off the presses, as of today.
Fresh off the press. No steaming.
Yeah. Charlotte County Legislative Liaison Fabrice today. Fabrizi here is today.
Yeah, sharpen up on your French, bro.
Hey, man. I'm working on it.
Yeah. And then one of our business agents, Seth Burnett, from Bernetti and Bernetti Law Firm.
Let's go. Let's go.
And our special guest today, our newly fresh off the press, as we will be announcing it today on our social medias. We did announce it last week, but finally got him in here for a picture with his new firefighter endorsed signs. Our District 71 endorsed candidate, Jordan Varnadore.
That's right.
Let's go.
Thank y'all for having me. Very excited. I kind of wanted the yellow sign, though, to be on like a necklace so I could wear it during this.
We'll work on that.
I've been chasing this yellow sign for like 14 months now. So
it's very popular, right? So it's kind of our branding, and we've done actually awesome job branding over the last few years because people now recognize the yellow signs. In fact, people tried to copy the yellow signs with a sheriff endorsed or this endorsed or whatever, because the yellow sign gets noticed, right? And people notice it. And people now, through the last couple of processes, know who's behind that. It's actual firefighters, right? So I think that's why it carries the weight it does. It's not some imaginary group in the middle of Nowheresville that said, "Hey, we're a bunch of firefighters." There's an FOP lodge in Manatee County, as Jordan's aware of.
I'm aware, yeah.
Yeah. They actually don't represent fucking nobody. That's where I found that out, right? That's a whole nother problem, right? Because I called them about a city council race, Bradenton City Council race, in which we've endorsed Lisa Gonzalez-Moore, and they endorsed, I found her opponent posted, he got the endorsement of FOP, and I was like, I'm going to call the fucking FOP and find out what the fuck happened here, right? Because the cops going to need to get their shit together. Find out they're
everywhere they need to get their shit together.
Yeah, find out they're not actual cops. They're just a bunch of retirees that have a lodge, and Lisa forgot to fill out the questionnaire, and so the guy literally told me, he's like, "Yeah, man, I had no choice but to endorse the other guy because she didn't fill out the questionnaire." I was like, "So because she forgot to do her homework, you endorsed this other guy and gave him the business." Well, good news for Lisa, as you know, Jordan.
Yep.
Lisa got the endorsement from the actual cops that work for Bradenton. The IUPA group that actually works for Bradenton. So that's a whole nother animal, right? So Jordan,
But we do love them cops. Shout out to the
I
cops.
do love the cops.
We love our brothers in blue. Just
I just I wanted the blue and the red. You know, like
Well,
I'm an Ole Miss grad. Those are my colors. You
Like
know,
the
it's-
flag.
so here's the deal with cops. You know the difference between cops and firemen?
Well, based on their job description.
Well, it's a joke, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
well, go ahead. Go for it.
They both want to be firemen.
Facts.
if you're ever trying to find where the hydrant is on a fire, go find the cop car. It's usually right in front of the hydrant.
I've had so many cops when they come by the station and we're just chilling out and whatever, and they have to sit out there in their cars in the hot ass sun, being like, "Man, I should have been a fireman." Yeah, you should have. So Jordan, for our folks, our members, so as we talked about in our last episode, we're going to be bringing on a lot of our endorsed candidates in the next few weeks as we lead up to November to talk to our members, help them understand why we're endorsing certain individuals and get, all the buy-in we can. But let's start with who the hell is Jordan Varnadore? Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Jordan. I'm married to my wife, Jordan. So
That's-
it's very easy. It's 2 for 1. The same
did-
spelling and everything.
He didn't make that up.
No,
It's
that's
a true story.
That's true. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from Palmetto, so I had to marry somebody. I had to marry somebody that I could remember their name, and I figured if I can't remember my own name, it gets a little weird sometimes. They're
So-
going, "Hey, Jordan," but
You're not just from Palmetto, though. Your family damn near founded Palmetto, right?
we've been around for a long time, so multiple generations, and then a lot of Manatee County service work behind the scenes, and my grandfather, he's got his footprints over there at the courthouse. He was my hero. Great man, and but yeah, a bunch of ag roots is what brought us down here. Family originally came down here to be Manatee Fruit Company sharecroppers up there in Terracia Bay. So my grandfather was actually born in Terracia Bay, like in the fields. And there's some great photos we have at my office where my grandfather and his brothers are like 9 years old. They've got 22s on their hips, and they're out there shooting bobcats and whatever it was back in the day, and a bunch of citrus and tomatoes as that came through, and so. Just been there forever. And my joke always is I was going to be the first Varnadore to ever leave Manatee County. So I went to Ole Miss and married a Mississippi girl, and I said, I did it. Because my dad actually bought the house he grew up in from my grandfather, and which he purchased in 62. My dad bought it from him in 89. So I went off to Ole Miss thinking, all right, I did it. So I married a Mississippi girl. She kind of found out I'm from a place that has a beach nearby. And she goes, well, I think we're going to move back there. So on the same avenue, I kid you not, 16th there in Palmetto, I bought a house 2 blocks away. But that was 2 blocks farther than my dad made it. So this was progress for my family. I mean, this is big progress. I made it 2 blocks. And then I can't make this up. So we outgrew the house. I have 4 children now. And it was like, yeah, this bigger house is coming up on 4th Street. I was like, okay, cool, man. I grew up on 4th Street. That's a great place for kids. Which house is it? I kid you not, it's the same house. So my kids are growing up in the same room that I grew up in, that my dad grew up in, that my grandfather had since 1962. That's when I kind of looked at it and was like, all right, God, I get it. I made it. My whole plan was to go like 900 miles away, and I made it 0 feet. All right. So, so I said, well, how can I be of service here? So that's my background. Got home. I got some, great connections there. I started a PEO business with my dad. He was does the workers' comp and payroll and HR stuff for a lot of construction, blue collar. So I mean, that's what we're into. And so we still kind of have that ag, roots. My grandfather, when he started a CPA firm, growing up a farmer, his first client was a little fruit stand that became Tropicana. And so we've always been into that kind of Manatee County farmer ag world, and we're still kind of in it in the blue collar thing there, but. Just going through it, we've done a lot with the community. We've started. I love this setup that y'all have. By the way, this is freaking awesome. This is in my wheel space. We started Tiger Vision 15 years ago.
Yes,
and so we do a bunch of broadcasting for high school kids. My crew is actually in Key West right now. We're going to do like a Remy. So the camera guys are down there. We're going to call the game from Palmetto tomorrow. Wow. It's going to be pretty wild. So we got a lot going on there, but. That's just me. I mean, I'm just a guy that never could leave, and just willing to serve. And then seeing the seat open up, having some initial connections in Tallahassee. I never thought, my family's not political. We never have been. And just kind of seeing the changes that were happening in Manatee County and seeing what's going on, I just really, really wanted there to be some conservative leadership that comes from Manatee County that, has a vested interest in Manatee County. And it's not to say that, the hidden gem is out, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's things changing. All right, we can't just pretend that we're, under a rock and we can hide forever. But I just thought it was important that somebody could do that. So this whole quest kind of started with me going out and going, I will go find you a conservative, lifelong conservative, old school Manatee County name. And that was kind of what I got tasked with. So I went to a lot of great names around the county, and finally they called me and they said, "Hey, Jordan, we found a guy." I was like, "Sweet. So this will be awesome." So I sat down. I'm all excited to, get behind this person. And that's kind of, what my family's always done is we get behind, candidates that we think are good. It's kind of like y'all do. We get behind candidates that think are going to be good of service. And they just sat me down. "Hey, Jordan, it's you. We want you to run." I go, "You want me to do what now?" I've never been in politics a day in my life, and you want me to run for a state seat? Like, this is a little different. So anyways, I mean, that's me in a nutshell. But yeah, and then I do a little. We've got a few other businesses. We've got a Jumbotron businesses that does a bunch of community stuff. When somebody's having an event, I would love to do some stuff for y'all. I mean, we just roll that thing out there. And then I've got a little IT deal and whatever. But then what I have to joke with my wife all the time, because I won't let it go, is I'm a rock star in my own mind. I moonlight as a dueling piano guy, and which is even fun on the political cycle. Some people thought that was cool, and some people thought they're going to make fun of me for that, but whatever. But still in my own mind, so I'm still doing that on Cortez Road. So I am who I am. That's what you go find with me. You'll figure that out through this podcast today. But
Yeah.
that's a long-winded answer on
Now,
that
do
one.
you do that piano down there in the little bar there next
Yeah,
to
so 88 Live is where I'm
88
allowed to
Live,
play
yeah.
anymore. I used to do it when I was in my early 20s in Memphis, New Orleans, Dubai, London, Hawaii. It was a lot of fun. And then I had that, my wife-to-be kind of gave me that choice. All right, would you like to be a rock star in your mind, or would you like to get married to me? And so I made a very, very smart decision.
Yes.
And I married her. But then this as we're rebuilding the family home, because it got a little, we had to go through some reconstruction from the guy that owned it, from my dad to me. This piano bar opens up. So a contractor had taken me for a ride. And so my wife was like, "You need to go out with the boys." So I call the, Manatee County's finest, and we go out. And I said, "Let's go to this piano bar, but I got one rule. Don't tell them I play the piano." Okay. That was never a part of my life. Walk in, I got a good friend of mine, Luke Bustle. He comes in there and he goes right up to the owner. He goes, "Yeah, Jordan just got off tour. He's looking for new residency." So I was like, and one thing led to another. And I keep thinking I've been there I think I've been there like 7 years. So it's been a lot of fun. And that's my vent. It's my passion. It's my love. It's my way to, share joy and whatever. But yeah, that's me in the nutshell, I guess.
So
This whole talking about myself being a politician really is uncomfortable to
Yes.
me. Like, I really hate it. But
That's good practice.
You may have to call him out for one song.
Yeah. So at the gala, you know this already, Jordan.
the gala, yes, the gala.
The gala. So Jordan and Jordan are coming to the gala, the Varnadores, and we have a dueling pianos band going. So maybe at some point we may have to.
You have dueling
Sub-
pianos at the gala?
Yeah.
Yes.
For real?
That's awesome.
This might get amazing. This might
We've
get
only
ripped.
just begun. That'll be fun.
So Jonathan was your kind of right hand man on the campaign trail. It helped you with the campaign. Was doing some things, and now as we've pre-show, we always talk and kind of get some background and stuff. It's going to be helping you in Tallahassee as your legislative assistant.
Yes.
So, we'll get them tied up with our people up in Tallahassee. We have a great ledge team up there that helps our folks out, and so we were talking about that pre-show to help them along, because the learning curve is steep when you get to Tally.
Sure.
It gets there. You don't get a day off, right? You don't get a chance to learn too quickly or too slowly. So we'll get them set up. But that's Jonathan's part, is helped you on the trail when we had our meetings with you and your primary opponent. Was here for that kind of stuff. I saw him out, as I was visiting our troops in Manatee County. Saw him out at a couple places doing his thing. So that's where Jonathan came from, right?
Yeah. So, God sent me Jonathan. All right. So I remember, I'm way over my head in the whole thing. And then Jonathan shows up in my office one day. I see him pull up and I see his ponytail roll out of the car. I'm like, oh my God, and I was like, what is this? He gets right to work. He sits down, he goes, all right, where's your computer? He sits down and starts cutting, packets. And he goes, all right, Jordan, we're going to knock 13,000 doors in like the next 4 months. I go, we're going to do it now? And he was like, no. And along the way, so he's Jonathan Rodriguez, but we call him Speedy Gonzalez. Because, I actually put him on my phone as that. And now that he's a well-known person, I share that contact with people. Are like, who is Speedy Gonzalez? And I'm like, oh, my bad. But he's the hardest. I say that with all the love in my life. Like, he is the best.
I do have to ask, when your phone goes off and he calls you and does it go, oh, no, does it do it? No? Like the cartoon? No?
Let me tell you what, it will now. That is a genius idea. And, what's great about
we make up a lot of shit on this podcast.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm taking notes. I really am. So that will happen. Because Jonathan was the hardest working dude I've ever met. He's really made a name for himself with all the teams. I heard it on your episode 18, at the polls and everything else with the Grooters teams and all these people that were running around.
Yeah.
Everybody got to know Jonathan. Jonathan was the guy. And so he's a huge testament to the success. So when it came time for it, and he lobbied hard to be my LA, and I was like, all right, let me see how this goes. And I just was like, what are the qualifications? And they go, a guy that's really, really loyal and trustworthy. And, AIDS can screw things up for all of us, people in and out of the circles. And he's going to be the dude. And I said, if those are the qualifications, this is the guy.
Yeah.
He got so infamous at how much success he was having on the doors and things like that, people were like, hey, once Varnadore loses, we can work for me. And now, if he was smart, he would have been like, yeah, let's just explore some options, But he instead, he was
test of loyalty right there.
He was violently loyal. He goes, no, I don't lose. Varnadore's my guy. And so I was like, holy cow. I mean, just God absolutely sent me this dude. So, we'll work on Jonathan a little bit, but he's I'm excited to have him. I really am. So, but we're not going to, Jonathan, after our primary night, Tuesday night, it was a late night, and Jonathan's up at 4 a.m. I had to, just like, you're staying at my house. He wakes me up and he goes, I'm cutting packets. We need to start knocking. Brother, we just won the primary. We're going to take one day.
Yeah,
we're going to take one day to sit on a porch.
Yeah.
And Jonathan's like, no, man, we got to hit the doors, and that's how he was this process. I mean, there's days where you are exhausted. There's days you're talked out. I mean, that's just me being a real person. But and Jonathan would pull you along, and he's a huge testament to success. So,
and so you're right about LA's right, legislative assistant. So my predecessor at the state level stuff, because I'm also the state rep for this area, is a man named Merv Kennel. He'll be at Gallo as well, and he's a president emeritus for us. He's an FPF emeritus. He's in our Hall of Fame, right? And one of the first things he taught me in Tallahassee is become real good friends with the assistants.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that get you into shit. It's like when you need a meeting like today in 15 minutes, if you have a relationship with the assistants, that's how you get a meeting in 15 minutes, right? Because you guys, you're going to find out very abruptly. There's a lot of people who's going to want to talk to you,
sure.
Right? And so you got to get in that pecking order, right? You got to be one of the dudes in that like top rung of tiers, where when you make a call and we need to talk to you in an hour or whatever it is, or sending my people over and they want to talk to you about something, be good friends with Jonathan. So by the way, Jonathan's been drinking my Eagle Rare with this whole time here at the office.
Calling him out right now.
Just so we all
right now.
Tastes
good, right?
It's shocking how quiet he is over there. He must be enjoying his time.
Yeah.
That or he's buzzed. I don't know which one.
So
it's a little both.
So a guy. My son was quarterback at Manatee High.
Okay, nobody's perfect.
I know. I get it. For 3 years, starting quarterback for their varsity team for 3 years, and actually one of the first phone calls I got on your behalf was Chad Choate.
Really?
Yeah,
Great dude.
School board member for Manatee County. Chad calls me up. He's like, "Hey man, I want you to talk to somebody," and real good guy. Literally says, he's a palmetto guy, but we can look through that, right?
That's okay. That's my relationship with Choate and Gene and all them guys.
Yeah. And then Bowen, Summer, same deal. Like, hey, man, he's a palmetto guy, but real good dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, guys, I'll give him a call, right? And we talked on the phone and worked through our process. And then I also must mention, so you guys know I've been through a lot of political events in my time serving the members. So the best meal I've ever had at one of these events was at Jordan's deal, right? So
was it brisket?
No, it was not brisket. It was fresh caught redfish that was fried right there, put in baskets, and fried okra and some fucking grits, some cheese grits. So it's the first time I've ever been at one of these. You go to these political events, you get you a couple little snacks, and you just drink something, and then you get something on your way home to eat, like something real. No, I went back for seconds.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
I went back for seconds, and
Well, you're a fish guy, so yeah.
yeah, me and Hal, well, especially right off the water that day. Me and Greg Howell sat there, ate a couple plates of that, and his old man, his dad, sat there and talked our damn ear off. It was a good time.
Yeah. You meet the old man. He's gonna put the hook in deep on you.
Yeah, so we were sitting there talking for a while, but that was. So I'm not even bullshitting. The best meal I've ever had in any political event I've ever been to was that one right there. So
Well, shout out to Kevin Bussell, Bob Bussell, Luke Bussell, James Burton. I mean, I'm
about to say, is there anybody other than Bustle in there?
Yeah, well, yeah. They're all
Bussell
family. We're all
families.
related. That's why I had like the real answer why I had to go to Ole Miss. It's because I wanted to marry somebody I wasn't related to. Because I'm related to everyone in Manatee County, it seems like. So, but yeah, good friends of mine. That was fresh off the water. They brought it in, and when the cut,
you
awesome.
you could taste it. It was just right there.
Cody and Chloe over at the cut, they're absolutely incredible. That was
Taste
our
the bait.
unofficial campaign
So
headquarters. And they were just like, "Hey, what do you want to eat?" I said, "Well, do I have to order and do it off the menu? Like, you can do whatever you want." I said, "Well, look, one thing I will never fail you on is eat. I mean, when you want to eat, follow the fat guy, right? So that's me. So
Hey, I love that.
I've resembled that remark.
Everybody wants me to cook at the firehouse. I don't know why.
All good stuff. All good stuff. So, got through your primary, right?
we're through it.
Yeah, it was a kind of contentious primary, right? He had a formal opponent who was very well funded.
Yep.
Did a lot of it from himself. Well known in the community. We talked about. I mean, you said you listened on our last show. I put y'all's race at a coin flip. Just kind of because you both you born and bred here, right? Born and bred Palmetto. Your opponent had been in town for a long time too, right?
Yeah.
And so had some background from both of y'all. And I had it at 50-50, and it definitely was not that. You smoked his ass. So showed up, right? 60 plus, which I text you on primary night because been doing this a long time. Early voting and mail-ins come in almost at 7:05ish, 7:10, right? They drop those.
Right.
And I'm always, because I represent so many, so I had Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte, and then I had a couple other counties where we were involved in races, helping brothers out in other places, all pulled up on my phone. I'm just hitting refresh the whole time as we're driving down to Kim's shindig. And when that dropped and I saw you were plus 60%, I was like, well, that's done, right? Because there ain't enough votes on election day to either way to overturn plus 60. If it would have been 52-48-ish, I'd be like, all right, we got to watch and see how election day comes in. But when you're plus 60 on all that stuff. And so that speaks to what this young man did.
Yeah, 100%.
With you. Because to get that drop and that quick, I mean, you weren't the only one. We endorsed it in a bunch of different races in that.
Well, I followed
county.
it.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for my yellow sign, but dang.
So
We got to get
But
to the
y'all,
Mr.
y'all finished what 90% with
Yes.
your candidates, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
I mean,
you
y'all really
want
do
the
pick-
Mr. T starter set?
I do. I really do. I'm not kidding. I'm ready. But no, I mean, y'all knocked it out of the park. You really did on that. But yeah, a lot of that, my opponent was a tremendous, he did everything right. He came out with a ton of money. He got some early endorsements. He got Stubby, which I know y'all back.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he did everything he could, and we had to Phoenix Rise it. And a lot of that credit is to Jonathan and just other believers that we will not quit. We played the whole campaign, and we'll do it again here in the general. Like we were down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and you pick it. Maybe it's Palmetto Manatee, maybe it's Florida State, or it's Ole Miss LSU, whatever. Yeah. But we played like this is the last game for the the rest of our lives. Yeah. And we were out there, and I got to compliment y'all. I mean, we were out there at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning at the polls, whatever. And there's Greg Howell, there's you. I mean, there's y'all. I mean, they were there, and I'm like, dadgum, I want one of those yellow signs because this organization absolutely influences it. I mean, y'all work really, really hard.
Yeah.
So y'all get behind some good people.
We appreciate that, and we talked about this. Like, we don't endorse, we support, right? So we don't. You've got our endorsement now. You get to see that. Like when you guys go door knocking and give us dates, like we'll come out. We do that, right? This young man right here, freaking, he put many miles on his car driving Kim and Montre down in Charlotte County, getting her door to door and doing all kinds of stuff everywhere. Like that's the thing. I think people value our endorsement because firefighters are well thought of in the community, but they also value the fact that now you get firefighters knocking doors with you, right? We come out with our red firefighter shirts on, and even if a door says no solicitation, we don't give a shit, right? So
Everyone loves
they're not going to tell us no,
Hey,
right?
and
So
I'll tell you, that's a huge advantage for y'all as firefighters. Like, who's going to tell the firefighters no? Because we do on our campaign, and Jonathan taught me that is we respected non-solicitation. Whatever we would drop some literature, but we're not going to bother them. But then when y'all come up behind, they're like, who's going to kick off the firefighters? Like,
so like what we did. Like I walk with the so wherever I'm walking, I wear whatever shirt we're walking in, right? So it's because we represent Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte, and DeSoto County, and so we have shirts for everywhere we're at. And I remember I was walking a few years back with the Braden guys, and we had Braden Fire Rescue on the back of the shirt, and like you knock on the door, it says no solicitation. They look through the door, and you just turn around and they see Fire Rescue, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" Or they'll even say. I'm not buying anything, and our answer is we're not selling anything. We just need your support. Boom,
That's awesome.
And that's it, right? And walk through that, right? And I told Amanda Beller that when we were walking with her. I was like, she's like, well, it doesn't say no solicitation. And I said, no, we'll work through that. We're good. No one, people see these red shirts, no one tells us no, kind of deal. And so we get out and we do that for our candidates, and I think that's why that endorsement is so well thought of and valued. Because they know that. And that started with my predecessors. Again, Merv Kennel, he was our president for about 12 years and was our FPF DVP for about the same time, off and on. And
he's triple emeritus. I don't know at this point. We emeritus him so many times.
And then the guy following him, Phil Vatz, I mean, that's just something that's been bred into us as we get involved is, hey, man, we got to have friends, right? And how do you get friends? You build relationships.
Well, I'm gonna kind of flip it on you, but it's like an organization like yours, like why be involved in politics? And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would do wonder that, and being one of the evil politicians, I guess, or whatever. But it does make you wonder. But a wise man once said that you want to have a seat at the table, but you don't want to be on the menu.
Yeah.
All right. So
he must have heard our last podcast or something. I don't know.
By the way, I stole that.
I might have listened to it on the way over. But no, it's absolutely true. Like, because it is nice, and I said this in my questionnaire with y'all, but I truly do mean this. It's going to be great because when I'm up there, and I'm going to be a freshman. I mean, let's be honest with you. I'm not going up there acting like I got it all figured out. I can't stand when candidates are like, "Hey, I've got all the answers. I've got everything." No, you don't. All right. So when you get up there and the chaos starts and everything else, you're going to need people to rely on. And I told him, I was like, and I told this whole organization, when I call, all right, and I'm going to call, I'm going to say, "Hey, I need help. All right, this has something to do with firefighters. Like I need help. I need y'all to tell me what is it that our area, our community needs." For us, because a lot of the times you will see the state sometimes, unfortunately, blanket a policy that will not apply effectively to everything all over the state. I mean, it may work great in Miami, it may work great in Leon County, it may work in Alachua, but it may not work for Manatee.
Yeah.
So that, and then the same way, it's the other side of that is when you see something coming up and. I'm up there, checking with my head cut off, whatever. You call me and you go, "Hey, Jordan, we got something coming up."
Yeah.
And I'm pick up the phone. I mean, that's how this is supposed to work. I mean, it says state representative. It doesn't say Jordan Varnadore's policy for everything, right? It's supposed to be, you're supposed to call me and go, how this works. And that's really what I want to be. So, I mean, kudos to y'all making the investment into being in politics because I think having a seat at the table is important.
It is.
These people, I mean, the choices that we're making and the things that we're going to be deliberating and passing legislation on and all these bills that are going to go through, they're going to affect the next generations. My kids, I look at this whole thing through the eyes of my children, and I want to know that we covered all the bases. I want to know that we talked to everybody that we can to figure out what's going to work. Not just for the next 2 years so I can get reelected. Don't care. It's a $29,000 a year job.
Yes.
Don't care.
Yeah, you're going to spend more on travel.
I don't think even if I make it 8 years, I don't think I'll ever recoup.
No.
So is what it is. But what I want is to where 3 generations from now, when I'm an old man, hopefully dying in my old house, passing it on to my kids, is I can go, "Hey man, we made some good choices to where they have a future in Florida."
Yeah, absolutely. And
Well said.
And that's all we ask. Like we talked about that when, we were in between things. We went both to your parties, your opponent parties. We had both of you in there, all this stuff. And honestly, that's all I've ever asked of anybody we've ever endorsed is, hey, when I call about something, just pick up, right? Or if you hear the word, if you're in Tallahassee and you hear the word firefighter, call me.
That's it.
And I'll let you know what the skinny is on it, right? That's all we've ever asked. And you've made that commitment. We appreciate that. Jonathan, we've been talking with him since he's been here. Like, hey, man, you need something from us, let us know. We have a legislative team up there that helps people out all the time. It's kind of what we do. We just help people out, right? And but you talked about, and something I want to give you some kudos for and let you hit on a little bit. You talked about blanket policies for state stuff, right?
Sure.
And the 180, right? Senate Bill 180 bill, which has been affected our area.
No kidding.
And you were out. One of the things that got you real notice right at the beginning of your campaign was there was talks about a cruise ship, a cruise port coming into the Manatee area, and some people thinking, well, maybe Senate Bill 180 can affect that or do this or whatever, and you went out and you campaigned against that idea, and then that bill, you also share that that bill probably doesn't really help us a whole lot. So let's talk about that experience because I remember you were on there doing the videos and doing all that other stuff.
A lot of good intentions start with like SB 180. I think being able to rebuild after we got rocked by the storms. I mean we got crushed. It was a horrible night. A couple of weeks there. I mean it was. I'm sitting there on the river. I mean I'm watching my neighbors get flooded out. I actually 2 blocks over. My cousin is. I call him. I go, hey, how are you doing? He goes, I'm kind of floating on the mattress. How do I get out? And I said, I'll come to you. He goes, I'm worried about, down power lines and whatever. And so, I swim them out, do whatever. So it's like, I kind of see where that came from, but good grief, like so many, good intentions begin, they get abused. All right. So that absolutely has to be addressed, whether it's, changing. I honestly think it just needs to be replaced with a better one.
Yeah. I think there was an attempt too, last year. Never got
there was. It never got knocked through. So we'll work on that. But the as far as the cruise port, I mean, here I am. I announced. It's like, all right, cool. Let's get fired up. And I'm a conservative Republican. I'm a big proponent of private property rights and everything else. So and then it's like, okay, they want to do a cruise port in Terracea. I go, okay, well, let's think about this. I grew up in Terracea, fishing out there, wade fishing. It's 5 inches of water. They're going to have to dredge 5 miles at 70 feet deep. It's going to change the area from waterfront residential to heavy industrial. If you come through the cut there by Braden Yacht Club, you're going to be in a restricted zone, kind of like when you get close to Port Manatee. It will kill the fishing, the whole deal. So
fishing's important.
The first thing I did, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to come out. And I talked to my wife about it. She's like, just do it. I'm an expendable candidate. And I was like, yeah, fine. I don't care, So I just came out violently against it. And I knew at the time the state was very, very unpopular with our county and our local governments because of the SB 180. And so I said, all right, so let's get on the phone, So you get on the phone with Will and you get on the phone with Jim, and I got to stop calling by their first names, but Senate President Designate and all these people.
No, we still call by Will and Jim.
Yeah, okay,
so
very good. All right, yeah, green light.
That's what.
And if they're and if the off chance that Jim is listening, just remember, go Gators.
Yeah.
And,
Jim and Jim and this organization go way back because his time in the House and. If I ever called him Senate President Boyd, he would look at me as though I had bugs crawling on my eyes.
He does the same. He's such an incredible person. My family and go way back.
I appreciate people who are like that because the other day we're all just people. So don't take titles to your head.
And that's exactly it. And Jim's the kind of guy that will always remember your aide's name and your he's an awesome dude. But anyways, back to the cruise port. So we make a delegation about it. I kind of took the gamble to go out there, and then they went to work. And this was a big win for the state being able to show that when we have effective communication between our county government, our local municipalities, and the state, to where they can work together, we can accomplish a good mission. And that's really what it's all about, is communication. I know it sounds really naive, like just talk to each other. I mean, it sounds elementary. But that's what they did, So the state comes down, and I couldn't believe it. I get a call from the governor's office, like, hey, there's going to be the governor's coming to Braden, and he's going to do a signing. Okay, the first bill out of this session, there's no way it's going to be with the cruise port. There's no way. And I show up the Pier 22, and there's the president of CCA. There's Suncoast Waterkeepers, Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, Suncoast Aqua Ventures. I mean, all the people that we just had this big rally. I took my silly Jumbotron over, and we rallied over at, Terracea. I was like, did we really do this? And when you grow up, not being in, my family's never been in politics, but can politics actually make a change? And it does make you wonder sometimes. You're like, do they really do anything up there? And
the answer is yes.
It was really, really cool to see him come down there and sign that. Now, we won the battle. Is the war over? No. I mean, that will always, that will always be a contentious part. But it was really, really cool for me as a young candidate, never doing this before, to see when you take a stand on something and you rally your community and you talk to everybody and you get everybody bound together. We made the change. Yeah. We made the change. They signed it into law, and we protected ourselves. I mean, we've got a cruise port in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to get on a bigger cruise ship, it's not that far of a drive to Cape Canaveral or Miami. All right. Yeah. So if you need to be on the Icon of the Seas or whatever it is, but they were talking about changing the Skyway, maybe making a tunnel, maybe raising it, maybe putting it. I was like, this is the most insane thing I have ever heard of. But no, it was a big win. So that fired me up as a young candidate just to go. We really can affect some change, and then from there on, I was kind of. I wanted to say hooked to it, but it was like, all right, now we can do it. So it fired me up to be like, I'm not just running to be the real conservative candidate, because we were, had some issues with, the other candidates, what their real beliefs are or whatever. But now it's because we can really do stuff.
Yeah.
So fired away.
You talked about Senate Bill 180, and again, this is why sometimes the state probably should stay the fuck out of things. Because the intention of that, I think, was in its essence kind of good, right? In that you're right, that people who us normal folk, right, as I call us, your house gets screwed up in a hurricane, and it cut the red tape out of you fixing your house.
You just want to be able to fix your house, rebuild it the way it was. You don't have to wait 90 days, 6 months, whatever, for a permit. Yeah.
So it did all that, but then we have certain entities out there that have lawyers that get paid a hell of a lot more money than all of us do in this room.
Combined.
Right? Yeah, seriously. Yeah. And they found a loophole, right? It said, well, by the way, we own this property, and the way this reads, we can also use this bill to effectively not allow local governments to control what we want to do, right? Right. Talking about developers, right? And so I think that's the problem with that bill in itself, with everybody who lives, I live in Bradenton. Everybody lives in that area is like, okay, man, like this bill has been used against us in certain ways, right? And so glad you recognize that. But this is why, your predecessor, the Robinsons, their name is about as old as yours, right? In the area, right?
Even more so. I mean, they're deep.
Yeah. So your predecessor and now you, two just born and bred people from this area. That's what I think is great about you and people who like you who run for these things, because like you said, I used to fish there, right? Or you still fish there, right? Yeah. Right, and you had your waders on out there fishing, and that shit's important to you. It's important to everybody who lives there. Like that essence that is that area that's important to those people.
I'm teaching my boys how to fish out there.
Both
my boys got their first fish out there.
Snook tacos, baby.
Yeah, snook tacos.
When your family moved here, it was ag and fishing, right?
That's it.
The whole Cortez fishing village is built on built on fishing.
The Cortez fishing village is another hill I will die on. We cannot lose a Cortesian fishing village over there.
Yeah, and so it's just refreshing. Again, like your predecessor Will is another one who, and the Boyd's have been here a long time too, and so we have.
And don't let Boyd fool you. He's from Palmetto.
Oh, I know. So he's actually a former firefighter, by the way. So he used to work. He worked for Palmetto Fire Department. Well, when it was a volunteer fire department, he worked there. It's now North River Fire District, but
great people.
So Joe Sicking.
I know him well.
Yeah.
I'm in school with him.
Awesome. Also, by the way, Sick. So right after Choate and Summer called me, I got a call from Joe Sicking too about you. So, and then we went up to Jim Boyd's coronation. A bunch of us were invited up to Tallahassee for that deal, and we were at his little shindig afterwards in the barn out back, and it was me, Sicking, and Sheriff Wells and a few others, and Sicking comes over. He's like, "Hey, man, I really would like for us to endorse Jordan." And I was like, "Okay, let me work through it, brother." The kind of deal. Like, there's a process. We have a process.
Sure.
But he big fan of yours, right? So and another guy who's born and bred Palmetto, right, and kind of deal. And so, just having that connection with the community, I think, is so important. But Jim Boyd, I guess about 2 years ago, Joe found going through all these files in Northford Fire District archives, found a picture of Jim, who was like 19 years old.
There he is,
with his helmet on and his bunker coat on. I don't know if you want to call it bunker coat. It looked like
was it the rubber coat?
It looked like, I was gonna say, it looked like a fucking raincoat,
Yeah.
right? And so
sounds about right.
Yeah, no, and pants like jeans,
Was there a bucket?
jeans and boots, right? Standing in this burnout house that he was at, right? And we got that and made a plaque. Joe made a plaque out of it. We presented it to Jim, and so currently we have we're about to lose Senator Hooper. So we had three firefighters. We had Omar Blanco from Miami-Dade, House Rep. Ed Hooper, longtime firefighter, Clearwater area. Now he's leaving. And Jim, right? Now we got Walter Price coming in from Pasco.
Yeah.
And
Walter a couple days ago. What a primary night he had.
Yeah. So Walter is he's a Pasco County firefighter. He's just a good dude. And then Nick Pachota from our own area was a former firefighter. So now we're grabbing a couple this go around because we supported Nick. He's got to get through the general, and I think we'll be successful there. That's a 60-40 district. If people like him start falling off in November, then we all have real problems. Right?
Absolutely.
I don't think that's going to happen here.
Yeah, my mom's side of the family, they were all firefighters. So I mean, y'all. I mean, there's a very special place in my heart for the firefighters. I mean, I really want to do whatever, and I told y'all that whether you endorse me or not, I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I can. And then, but yeah, I mean, honorary firefighter would be cool if.
Well, let's see what you get done. Okay, we do have that. We do have the. In fact, you might see something like that happen at the gala for a certain individual.
It starts with your piano skills at the end.
Well, hey.
So you can. I mean,
Consider
you're on your
it
way.
done.
You're on your way, right? You just,
Send me the song request.
Yeah, we're gonna actually at gala. We're gonna have a small program, probably about an hour-ish long, and we're gonna conclude with couple of special presentations. One is recognizing a person who is not a firefighter, not a union member, but has done incredible things for firefighters for their time. And awesome. I don't want to give away who it is because they're coming to gala. And hold on a second. And
hush.
Yeah, no, this is we have. Side note: we all know we have a brother we have other brothers with sisters with cancer. We have a brother with cancer who's going to Houston, and we have to work that out. So remind me to do that when we're done.
Remind me to remind this guy.
Yeah,
I'll remind you.
That's kind of what I'm working through.
Yeah.
But we have an individual coming to gala, doesn't know that this is going to happen, and we're going to present this person with honorary membership in this organization, lifetime membership in this organization because of their work on behalf of firefighters. So you're starting out.
That's my goal. Honestly, that's where I want to end up. I want to run it the right way. So, whatever I can do. So.
Yeah. No. So, what do you think when you go to Tallahassee? All right. So, I mean, we got a general election to go through. Feel fairly confident about it, right? Because your District 71 isn't exactly Democrat friendly.
No.
But so when you get to Tally, so we still got to work to get you through there, and we will. But when you get to Tally, what are some of the things you see here at home and then throughout the state? Because you get to, I think it's 7 or 8, right? You get to author 7 or 8 bills per year. I forget the exact number, but it's somewhere around that number. What do you think your mission is going to be going forward with that stuff?
Well, first, Jonathan, I can already hear him saying it, so we're going to do that. We're not there yet. We have a general election, so we are not going to talk about the future. We're going to win our general election. I can hear you, so Jonathan, you're welcome. And we are going to play it like we're going to knock up who knows how many more doors. And but it's awesome.
20,000 more doors.
Hey, it's honestly been the experience of my life to get to meet so many neighbors. I mean, when you just because you're from here and you've been here forever, your family's here, whatever. It was such a cool experience this year to just get to meet so many people from all walks of life. And
also, like you mentioned before, news is out. Manatee, Sarasota County area is pretty fucking awesome. So there's some people who've maybe moved here in the last 5 years.
And a lot of that was, there was a lot. I met a guy over on Anna Maria Island, and he came out and he was just like, hey, I just moved here like 2 weeks ago, so I don't know what's going on. He goes, what do you stand for? I'm like, he goes, dude, that's why I left, wherever Boston or whatever. He's like, this is freaking awesome. Like, this is why I moved here. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, hi, how you doing? One guy comes out there on the beach, and he had been there for another 2 weeks, and he goes, all right, you're a conservative Republican? What guns are you on? I was like, well, Glock 43, M9. When I start going through the list, he goes, all right, just put a sign in the yard, just to leave. But no, when getting to Tallahassee, the biggest thing that we're going to have to talk about, property tax reform. I mean, the governor went on this, and I think that affects all of us in a big way, especially first responders. If it passes, it's going to be a game of whack-a-mole. Right? I don't think it's perfect. I really don't. This is just me being, straight up, and that's what you're going to love about me, maybe or maybe not. You might hate it. Is just. I love the intention. Do we all want true tax relief? Yes. Mm-hmm. Do I think the FAFO and DOGE and all those things are trying to identify government waste? Yes. Am I a fiscal conservative? Yes. Mm-hmm. Do I want to see government waste? Yeah. But at the same time, we got to put the protections in there. I know there's constitutional protections that you have to spend the same amount of money or up to a percentage to continue, essential services. But I do worry. Is it going to be enough? When I talk to, Chief Sicking, he's like, hey, we're good. We're independent. Like, we got money. Like, let's save some money. But then you talk to, like, the sheriff's office, or you talk to some of the municipalities, like West Manatee and all them. Like, they're
Sarasota County.
They're freaking out. They're going, how is this going to happen? So that's going to be a huge thing on my plate is to go, how do we protect, our first responders and continue to equip them with all the tools for them to be not only effective, but I don't want them to want for naught. I really don't. Whether it's our military, our firemen, or our cops, I don't want them to want for naught. And that applies to retention. It applies to attracting good talent. It attracts in our education as well. We want to raise kids that have the skills to be able to enter the workforce, to where they can be here and they can step right in. I don't need my kids getting ideologies of what bathroom to use in high school when they need to be teaching, like, hey, if you want to be a fireman, let's teach you some fire skills. If you want to be a attorney, let's be an attorney. If you want to be that's a lot of it. On the conservative ticket, there's a lot of defense. I mean, I'm an insurance guy, and this sounds backwards because you would think I would want insurance rates to go up. But tort reform was such a huge thing, and I want to defend that. I want to continue to monitor it, make sure it's effective, but I also want to defend it because, I mostly do workers' comp. I'm a blue-collar, insurer kind of guy. It was in 2003, roofing rates were $50.99 per $100 of payroll. Okay, wow. Now they're like at $6 or less, and I have seen it in real time where the payrolls have gone up per employees to where outside of inflation. I know 03 to 26 is a long time, but it's outside of that, 3-4%. I mean, the people, the employers reinvest in their people, and it is getting harder and harder to find good people in construction and those trades and stuff like that. So I want to continue to, it's a lot of defense is what I want to do up there, but on the offensive side is the property tax. I think it just screams. Is maybe the number one thing is we're going to have to get out in front of that. There's going to be huge pressures for the property appraisers to come in and go, hey, when they get the bill for all these essential services, first responders and everything else, they're going to go, well, maybe I just will go to the max. I'll go to the 3% increase on everybody. And everyone will celebrate for the first year. Yay, our houses are worth 3% more. We're rich until they get their property insurance bill, until they get their property tax bill. And they're going to go, hey, was this true tax relief? Do they start widening the tax base? Do they start taxing us on other things? So that's something we got to tackle. So we're going to have to watch what happens. see if it passes with a 60%, and then we'll go from there. So that's a huge one on me. I want to get involved in education. There's so much there. I see the whole thing through the eyes of my children. I just want them to be able to learn to read, write, arithmetic. I mean, the basics. I mean, I want them to have. I want to do a thing called From Florida to Florida. You get educated in Florida through the Florida education system, to where they learn a skill as they come up to where there will be a job waiting for them. What we're seeing is a lot of Florida kids, they get educated and they go on to UF, and we have great institutions: UF, Florida State, Miami, FIU, UCF.
My son plays for UCF.
That's so cool.
Let's go, Jay, number 23.
But then they leave. They leave, and I don't understand. That's kind of a bummer. And then we're always importing all these new people. And let's have a Florida. Let's have a Florida rising a little bit. So
I appreciate you saying that about Amendment 3, because that's a big issue for us, and you and I have talked about that, and we'll see how it unfolds in November, right? And if it passes, then, as we have talked about it on a few of our podcasts, there's a thing called an implementation bill.
Yep.
Right? So when constitutional amendment passes from the voters, then the legislative body gets back together at time and place of their choosing. Usually the session after. And they start writing the law on what that means. Like, I'll use medical marijuana as an example.
Sure.
When it passed a few years back, okay, we got medical marijuana. Now what's the parameters of that, right? And so it was, you got to get a card. These are the 12 things it could be prescribed for. These are what the doctor has to do in order to write the card, right? There's not a prescription, it's a recommendation. These are the dispensaries. These are what the dispensaries have to do in order to do that, right? That's why when you drive by True Leaf or Cara Leaf or whoever the hell Leaf, it's all covered up, right? So kids can't see it, right? I walked in one of those on an accident one time. Well, not really on an accident. My wife was like, let's go check it out. I was like, fuck it, let's go check it out.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I walk in there, and also the parameters are, unless you have a card, you can't even go in a damn place. So we walked in just to see what they had, right? Like we're not going to buy anything, but we just wanted to, I've never been in one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Within about 2 minutes, I was kicked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, who has a card? I mean, they have like 3 or 4 people in this little tiny ass building. And we're like, well, we don't have a card. We just wanted to see what this, no, then you have to leave. I'm sorry. The state law prohibits anybody in here without a medical card not even to be in there. I just want to check out what kind of the gummy selection.
Oh.
And get a name from a gummy so I can name my fantasy football team that.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I saw unicorn piss.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Wackadoodle schnitzels or whatever.
Yeah. No, so anyway, that kind of shit, right? So, I mean, we went on a side tangent there.
We're spinning now.
Yeah. Amendment 3, same deal. So you're elected in November. That gets passed in November. You're going to be in that process. And that is kind of why our state organization, and for the most part, we are against it. I'm a fiscal conservative as well, right? I hate Washington, D.C. because my money goes up there and I never see a dollar of it back, right? And shit I want, right? And so I digress. We all pay taxes. Our members pay taxes. Do they need relief? Probably yes. In the right way, in that it protects public safety, it protects essential services. Schools are carved out already. You talked about that, right? Those sort of things. And that was Sam Garrison, the incoming speaker, is one of those who pushed that, right? And justly so. At a time, I think there was a misconception, and they just rewrote the language on the bill. For a time, people thought like, well, no, public safety is carved out. We're not. It just says once this is done, those are some of the things they may be used for. And so there's probably parameters that need to be placed, right?
100%. It's not perfect. I mean, look at it. Let's just call it what it is, all right? So the governor was, adamant on getting something done with this. And they went through special session like 17 and a half or whatever it was up there. The boys were never going to get to leave, right? Men and women. They were never going to get to leave.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, now we got to do a constitutional amendment, put it on the books in a weekend. I don't think anything comes out well when you try to do a constitutional amendment in a weekend. All right.
No.
So
Correct.
I think there's still a lot of work to do on it. But do we want true? It goes back to, do we want true tax relief? Yes, of course we do. If we've got a surplus here in Florida and we got a great economy and all that, that's great. I mean, we champion all that. But at the same time, I don't want to see it open up to where we end up going backwards.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing as a fiscally conservative Republican is and a huge backer of our military and first responders. I don't want to see them suffer, and our schools. I don't want to see them suffer, and I don't want to see anybody to want for naught. Is there ways? Sure.
Yeah.
And I do love that maybe some people are looking at it. Maybe this is the beautiful icing on the cake here, is because I've talked to so many people that so many of these organizations are already doing, very expensive planning for if this passes, what will we do? So it's good. They're looking at tightening the belt. They're looking at going, okay, maybe we are spending too much money here or there, and that's great. But my biggest concern there is I don't think there was enough protections put in place to make it make sense. And it's going to be, I mean, this is a terrible analogy, but it's going to be whack-a-mole. I mean, in my 8 years in the House, if I'm lucky enough to serve, and I would love to, but if I'm lucky enough to serve, it's going to be, okay, we fix this one. Oh boy, this one came up, and be like, now it's expensive over here, and I got to beat that one down. And it's going to be, this one comes up over here, and like, I got to beat that one down. Like, at what point do we get true tax relief? Where I do believe if maybe we just revisited it and actually got it right, then we don't have to play that for 8 years.
And I think that's kind of where,
welcome to government.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where our organizations are at, is why don't you actually do this the right way?
Right. Just get it right.
Vote this down. Go back to the table with a full legislative session to discuss it.
Yeah.
Do the things that are right about it, right? Not a 3-day weekend to figure this all out, right? Because this will put, if it passes, it, make no bones about it, will put strain on some of the organizations we represent.
Sure.
Without a doubt. Unjustly, right? I don't think that's the real intention of it. And so then it's like, and I've been talking with our fire chiefs. We represent 14 different departments. Some are good, some are not, depending on the municipality and their stuff. But I'd rather it, if you're asking me today, I'd rather it get voted down, go back when it's not rushed, come back with something that provides those protections. I think that's why you also see probably the most popular sheriff in Florida, Grady Judd, right? The most known, sheriff probably in all of Florida, Grady Judd, coming out and say this is fucking stupid.
Right? Maybe the whole U.S.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
this is stupid. Like this doesn't make any sense,
well,
right?
It doesn't. Yeah.
And Grady's a pretty conservative dude, but it doesn't provide protections to what we do here in Florida.
I mean, we're all talking about the same thing. Like I love Governor DeSantis. He kept Florida free. I mean, he's done a tremendous job. He is the dude. I hope they name every airport and freaking thing after him. I don't care. Whatever. He's been a dude, right? So I absolutely respect that man. But I think it was just like, oh crap, I still got to get this done, and he threw it out there. Same thing. I think we all want the same thing, but I think we all have the same concern.
Yeah.
Even as conservative Republicans, it's like, all right, did we get this right? I mean, did we get it right enough to where this is going to last? We don't. The last thing we want to do is rush this thing through, and then okay, in 2 years, or if we got to flip here or flip there, now we're playing musical chairs with it's in, it's out, it's in, it's out, it's in, it's out. Because you got to think about retirees. All right, the people that built this place, the people that built Florida. They're getting older. We got an older demographic, especially in Manatee County, my district. They're retirees. They're on a fixed income. They're on 401ks, IRAs, pensions, whatever, however.
Social Security.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
And if we mess around with their property insurance, property taxes, and whatever, 1 year it's good, 1 year it's not. 1 year it's $1 a square foot for property insurance. Next day it's $9 a square foot. That's going to be a thing. A lot of people are moving to Florida, and that's awesome. We welcome them with open arms. Just don't New York my Florida, and don't California my Florida.
Facts.
Please, I mean, sorry,
Please
but
don't.
Please. I say that at every dueling piano show, and I see people walk out every time, but I'm unapologetic about it. But at the same time, like, just we got to get it to where it's more stable, because that a lot of people are moving to Florida, but a lot of people are moving out of Florida. When people, they thought, hey, I would need $60,000 a year, $50,000 a year to retire on, And now that my property insurance or taxes are $40,000 a year, I'm leaving. So
I would also,
I'm great that people are coming here, but again, my biggest thing again, defense is I want to defend the unique Florida way of life. You know, we're Floridians. You know, when your family's been here a long time or whatever, you know, when you kind of, I'm not saying you built the place, but when you've been here, we want to be able to see people retire here, that work so hard here. The last thing I want to see is somebody that was here in Florida for 70 years and then they have to leave.
Yeah.
And one huge concern of mine is when my 4 small children look at me, even if they become doctors right now, first year residency, you know, that pays what, I don't know, $50,000 or something. I don't even know, you know,
whatever it is.
But whatever it is, I know that they can't afford to live in Palmetto, Florida. That disturbs me.
Yeah, that's a valid
if
thing.
my kid and look, I love my kids. They're very talented. They're beautiful kids. They're not going to become doctors. Okay, and let's just face it, they're not. And when they, sorry kids, but if they come and they go, Daddy, I worked my butt off. I went to school.
Yeah.
But I can't afford to come home and live. That bothers me. I mean, it bothers me a lot.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we are struggling through that with our own members.
Yeah.
Here's a young man who's been on. You've been on 3 years.
Coming up on 5 in January.
5. I'm sorry, Fabrizi. My bad, homie. Damn, dude. He's even better.
Time is flying.
It's fun. It feels like just yesterday. I just started.
Yeah.
Love every second.
Well, when you're having fun, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, young men like him and others in our organization getting ready to, you know, get into that buy a home, settle down, have a family type of year, and we can't do it. Our guys can't do it. A lot of our people have to try to find something out in Hardy and DeSoto County and stuff like that. Like, a lot of our people have a hard time living where they work, which is a problem for us, right?
Huge problem.
And it isn't simply, yes, we negotiate all these union contracts we have all these, but you know, the simple person will say, well, just pay them more. Well, that doesn't really fix anything either, right? Nope. Because that doesn't fix the underlying issue of why it costs more, right? Because even paying them more now causes more inflationary issues. And again, my finance and economics degree is starting to show a little bit here. Mm-hmm. More money equals more problems, right? Like literally. Like
it really does.
You know,
There's a song.
there was a song about that.
More problem.
No, but it does.
Great
You know,
song.
part of the reason why we are in the high inflationary times we are is because we threw so much money around haphazardly during COVID. Right. Like billions of dollars on just to everything that we can think of.
Throw money at it.
And now we're trying to play catch up on it, and it's 6 years later from when the height of it. Still haven't fixed that problem, right? Because we're still in a high inflationary issue, right? And so more money doesn't fix everything. It's you talked about property insurance. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would argue with people all the time who want to cut their property taxes. Hey, just cut your property insurance in half, which would save you a hell of a lot more than anything you pay in taxes.
Yeah.
Look, it's to the point where principal
we got to fix that one.
principal and interest is now not even your biggest problem. It's property taxes and property insurance.
Yeah.
This thing has flipped on its head.
Yeah.
All right. It used to be, hey, you just got to make the mortgage payments, right? You got to make the mortgage payments. And when that is like the cheapest by like a third or a fourth or a fifth to your taxes and insurance, like this is broken, y'all.
Yeah.
So
because what most people don't know is when you pay your mortgage bill, right? It's mortgage, it's your principal, your insurance is tapped into there, your taxes are tapped in there because everything goes in escrow and gets paid and all this other shit, right?
charging that interest on all of it.
Yeah, and so then, yeah, whole other problem.
Yeah.
And so
That's why they're talking about like 45-year mortgages now instead of the traditional 30s. Because
well, they already do those in
look at-
California, which again, don't California my Florida.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go. Yeah, you got it.
Because a 50-year mortgage sounds great because it drops your bill to in half from a 30-year
sure.
mortgage, but you're paying
you
for
better,
it.
you better get it when you're 20 years old.
Fucking years. You
Right.
will never move.
Yeah.
You'll never own the house.
We're actually unfortunately in America with the way it is regrading. Like when my parents were growing up, like my grandparents and parents were growing up, like again, I'm old. So
You are old.
it was you kind of lived in your parents' house forever, and then your parents died and you just took the damn thing over. We're almost getting back to that fucking point.
Well,
right?
it's gonna be that point
'Cause I have a
it's the
daughter-
only way you can afford it.
My daughter Mia is going to just take over when me and mom peel out because she has a good job. She goes to school. She's a great kid. Just can't get out of the house because it's fucking forever money.
Hey, don't threaten me with a family compound. Don't do it. Hey, we talk about it all the time.
Most moms want that. I get that.
And the culture to the South, they've taught us this. Like, hey, we're just going to go. We'll ride and die together. We'll all live in the same house forever.
We'll just build a couple houses out back, right?
Yep.
That's it.
And then when you're the new matriarch and patriarch, you move into the big house,
right?
Right.
You get to be El Jefe for a while, and then after that you pass it down. You get put back out in the outhouse until they got to take you out back.
I think most Southern mothers would love that because they don't ever want to separate from their babies.
Yeah,
so my wife's one of those.
I got a mother-in-law like that. Oh, my I'm glad she's 900 miles away, but
God bless her.
Yeah. No, my wife would have all 4 of ours if we could. Now, I bought a house with my backyard's literally my pool and that's it. So there's no building out there, so they're fucked. But no, but yeah.
Well, how are you supposed to do it anymore around here? I mean, that used to be a thing. You could get 5 acres.
Yes.
Like when I left for Ole Miss in 2006, my plan was okay. If I get a decent job, I can live on the river. That was my house that I bought. My old family home is across the street from the river. And if I could ever make enough money, it was about $300,000 to live on the Manatee River at the time.
Yeah.
And then my backup plan was I was going to get 5 acres off Doris Road in Parrish. I was like, cool. I was only gone for 5 years. I took the 5-year route, right? So I come back and
it's the pianos. They sidetracked. A couple piano bars.
It was
missed homework assignments.
It was the world tour.
I did not want to come home.
You were a rock star.
In my own mind.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. So, but you come home and it's like Parrish is 3 times as big as Palmetto. And I'm like, what happened? And then everything on the Manatee River is like $1 million. It's like, I was only gone 5. Look, I left it to y'all for 5 years.
Yeah.
What happened? And so it's crazy. But no, all those dreams of, maybe we could just buy 5 acres. And if we wanted to, we'll build a house for grandma and we do run into that now because of the issues that we're facing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, grandma's old. I got my people are getting older and whatever, and I love them to death. My grandmother's 90-something years old that taught me the piano, and she's awesome. I'd love to build her a little place. If I had the space, I'd build her right there. And she still teaches my kids piano. I'd love to put her right there, but I don't have it. I've got my 3/4 acre. And I'm trying to hang on to it, forever.
That's the other thing about the old times. Grandma lived with you too.
Yeah. I've had so many grandmas die in the old Varnadore house. I mean, we got the ghost. At least they're all nice. But
so yeah, because now even unfortunately people they have to put their mom and dad, grandma in nursing homes, which by the way now is like $5,000, $6,000 a month, right?
On the
cheap side. On the cheap side.
Try to figure that out, right? And it's a whole nother animal. And
mine lives in my house with me now. God bless her.
Yeah. You got a lot of things living in your house. Right?
I do. I'm one of these statistics.
You're freaking me out, Grandma.
Seth's regraded too. So his kids finally got out and going to college, and then he's got
2 little nieces.
2 little nieces living with him, and a grandma living with him, or a mother-in-law living with him, and he's got.
Oh, God bless you. You got the mother-in-law too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. And you're still alive.
I am.
Well, that's also why
that's why I'm here.
That's why you're here. I was wondering why you're here today.
What time you be home? I don't know.
That's also why his hair is all gray as shit.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, hi, kettle, meat black. Yeah. So
I got my hair cut today, and she goes, "How does half of the front of your hair grayer than the other half? This side's more stressed than the other. I don't know."
It's my side of the family and it's yours, So it is what it is. Yeah.
So yeah,
we got to get this man another drink.
There's a little left here.
Yeah, we even like for even me when I had a house in Ellington for a few years, and it was a 5-bedroom house because I have 4 kids. And
struggle.
Yeah. So actually got it at a time when it wasn't that, right? And so then my oldest leaves. She gets married and leaves. My son-in-law was in the military. He was in the airborne, so she moves up to Tennessee with him.
Awesome.
Lives on base or just off base, and then my son goes off to school. He's my third in the deal. So he goes off to school, never coming home. He lives in Tampa, so he's like got an apartment up there. I'll just stay up here and come home every so often. So I'm like, all right, let's downgrade, right? Let's get out of this 5-bedroom monstrosity that we all have to clean and take care of and all this other shit, right? And so we hemmed and hawed on for. Well, glad I did, because then my daughter gets pregnant, my oldest. Son's getting out of the military, and guess who? They're back home, right? This is 5 years ago, because my oldest granddaughter's now 5. And glad we did, because then they had at least a place to fall back to, right? And so, then they got jobs here and all that stuff and moved back out, and now we have downgraded. But it always kind of scares me a little bit, because I'm like, I'm in a 3-bedroom now, in Bradenton, and I have my Mia, who's never leaving, and Caroline, who just now is off at school, and I'm like, okay, we have a kind of a spare bedroom now. Well, I want to turn in my office, my home office, but I can't really do that, because I don't know which one of my kids might have to come home one day, because that's just the nature of the beast now in today's world, and it's just unfortunate we have to live through that.
I put a mattress in my office. That's what I did. I just put it in the corner. So when the son comes home, hey, dude, at least it's a bed.
Well, with 4 kids, though, it's a unique thing, because I kept thinking to myself, I live in this fantasy world in my mind that when my 4 kids finally get off and go to college, or do their own lives and they're on their own, that me and my wife will get to travel. I start doing the math. Hang on. So I start doing the math on this. I'm like, okay, so if my oldest daughter has children at the same time that I did, I will have grandchildren in my house before my boys leave. So I'm like, all right, I might as well get used to this, And so, but it double downs on my, efforts and what I want to do. Like, okay, I'm going to need the big house for the rest of my life. I'm going to have grandchildren. And, my parents went from having 2 kids. They have 6 grandchildren now. And the way the economy is now, we're all working. I'm working hard. My brother works. My sister-in-law works. I'm working like a crazy person. My wife's doing the hardest job in the world, staying at home, and even she wants to go back to work. I mean, it's just it's crazy, and that's only 6. And we start doing the multipliers on this. Just my children and their ages,
they all had
plus whatever, like
2. That's 8.
Oh my God,
that's 8. Right?
So we're gonna be busy. So everything you said, I mean, completely agree.
Yeah.
Like we got to get back to a little bit of what does America was founded on. We're supposed to grow families, have families, grow families, and everything. We should be able to sustain them. And so affordability is, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. Affordability is we've got to get back to something decent. And when it comes to the people that we rely on the most, like I rely on our local police and our fire to protect my family. When I'm out here running around doing podcasts in the middle of the day down here in Venice or whatever, if my family has a problem, I rely on them. I need some qualified people at home to go, hey, there's a fire at the Varnadore house, or there's something going on. I need the police to respond. I want some qualified people, qualified, educated, talented people that have got all the resources that they need to go protect my family while I'm out here, joking around with y'all and trying to do things for y'all. But you see what I'm saying with that?
Yeah. So with us in the fire service, these gentlemen. Well, I use that term loosely. These assholes with me.
Sir,
Well put.
I think we need to cut you off.
That's accurate.
Yeah. No, it's totally accurate. And so
I'm at the top of the list, by the way.
Yeah. So, we have a recruitment and retainment issue in the fire service right now.
Yes.
Right. So, I've been in a job 23 years now. Back when I was signing up, you had to beat out a lot of people. I had to beat out hundreds of people to get a job, and I started in Orange County in Orlando. Now you have 8 positions, and you might get 6 people to show up for them. Right? They're not as sought after as before. Mostly because, as most people don't know this, most of our schedule, they look at our schedule and say, oh, you're working for 24 hours and you're off for 48. That's good. That's a great schedule. That amounts to 56 hours a week.
Right.
Right. And we're getting paid most of the time at a 40-hour, the same as a 40-hour person is, but we're working 16 more hours a week. Some of our departments, so passed House Bill 929 last year or 2 years ago now, which now the state recommends that we get on the same 42-hour work week that police are on. Still 2 more hours a week than everybody else, but better, right? So some of our departments are working towards that. Some are below that now. They're below 56 hours. Like he works for Sarasota County, they're at 48 hours. Fabrizi works for Charlotte. They're at 52 hours because they got a 6 week. It's called a 6 week county.
Yeah.
We're working through. Seth works for Southern Manatee. We're working through that. Longboat Key, I'm still at 56 hours. Where you live in North River, just signed a new union contract to go to 48 hours. So it's like, hey, it's a step forward, but we're still working 8 hours.
Way
right?
over, yeah.
And so kids, I call it the COVID generation, right? My son and my daughter Mia are part of that. They went to high school during a time where you got to stay home and still do shit, right? So they were looking, Mia works at a dentist's office and does well. My son got out of school at USF and he works from home like 30 hours a week doing his job. And he goes out and that's what this generation kind of looks at. So our jobs aren't as sought after and sexy. So we're trying our best to get into high schools and do stuff.
Believe it or not, we had some kid apply to Sarasota asking if he could do firefighting from home. I was like, I don't know about you, but last time I sent the laptop into the fire, I didn't make it, bro. I just didn't make it.
Is that a new MO you were working on right now?
Or it's the last time I seen a laptop try to push on somebody's chest when they're dead, and that don't work out.
So we have a recruitment issue, right? We're working through that. We also have a retainment issue because of the hours we're working, the draw it is off of you, your family. I've been doing this 23 years. I can tell you my body hurts. I'm so happy that my daughter, my 18-year-old, who's just went to Coastal Carolina, is going into orthopedics. Because I told her, I said, about 10 years from now, you get to fix Dad's get to fix Dad's knees and his shoulders. I've been told because of the wear and tear in my body that I'm going to need surgeries, multiple surgeries to fix what I've done to myself over these years. That's just physically, right? That's not even talking about
the mental
and internal stuff. Like most of us end up developing high blood pressure. Cancer rates are super high within our organizations. Right?
Absolutely.
The average age of getting cancer is 68. For firefighters, it's 48.
That's insane.
Right. We get cancer 2 times more than the general public. Some of our cancers are 200%, 300% more than the general public. Right. So that's not sexy. Right, that whole idea of getting into this and killing yourself for it is not exactly appealing. Right, people look at some of the things. Oh, you get a 24 or 48. You get off for 2 days. No, for the first day we're sleeping.
Right,
because
recovery.
It's recovery. Yeah. Right, so
zombie.
Right, so your family doesn't get to.
That's if you're single, by the way.
Exactly.
Not if you have kids. You're no.
Yeah.
And definitely not if you're a union rep. You go from work to work to work, and then your kids, and back to work.
You were talking about
take a nap in between.
You were talking about Walter, a candidate, and he just won his primary, and I know how my primary night went. I mean, it was exciting. It's a roller coaster of emotion, but I met him the other day, and he took a shift. I mean, he had a double. And so he woke up after winning a primary election, and he has an unfortunate. He's doing a GSW. And he had to go in there, and he's a senior guy, so he's letting the young guys, stay out there. He doesn't want to expose them to that. He's in there trying to save a guy's life. It was unsuccessful, self-imposed GSW and whatever. And he's working hard. And I was like, I just can't imagine, what he's going through. I mean, what a roller coaster of emotions there. And then, I mean, that's what we're talking about, like with the firefighters and all of our first responders and even the farmers. I got to throw the farmers in there too.
Absolutely.
I do.
Absolutely.
There's no sexiness to it, right? It's not sexy anymore. Like, hey, I want to be a fireman. I get to get 2 days off. Like I get to. All the chicks are gonna love me because I'm in the rubber. I'm in the rubbers. I'm cool.
Wrong. Well, they love JMO.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
I tell you right now,
JMO's our
wife,
calendar firefighter.
My wife.
I heard North River did one of those.
Is that right?
I skipped out on missing that, but
very popular.
Yeah. Right. So
my wife, when I met her,
come on, Jay.
A friend introduced us, right? And we both grew up in the same town in Homestead down in South Florida, and so I met her later on in life, and we were talking for about 3 weeks, and then she found out I was a firefighter. She almost stopped talking to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that appealing anymore. She's like, oh, I know a bunch of firefighters. They're all assholes. And I was like, well, you're not wrong. But at the same time, like, it's not that anymore. But yeah, no, it's just something that we have to do a better job at, I think, educating the public, because especially with like things like Amendment 3, and if we go back to asking, funding for, I hear stations and this and that. And, well, first of all, trucks, because of inflationary measures and some other things, our national union has filed an antitrust suit against these hedge funds who have bought up these truck companies. Trucks are now
crazy,
costing 2 to 3 times more than they did, with 2 to 3 times more to get them out.
Right.
Right. That's a problem.
And by the way, the quality is not what it used to be anyway.
Right.
I'm starting to put screws back on myself. That's dumb.
So you got things like that, right? You need stations. All this growth and going on in Florida. You live in shit, dude.
Dude, I'm in the
North River Fire District. When we signed them up, I think they had 4 stations.
right.
Now they're on pace to have 7, and they'll be at 7 within the next 5 years. Probably 8 eventually, right? Joe Sicking, their chief up there. He's a young man. He's actually way younger than me. He's a young man. He's going to probably be there 20 years.
Yeah.
He's probably going to see by the time he leaves there 10 or 12 stations.
He's a dude. We're following it with the education too. I mean, there was 7 high schools in Manatee County now. There's about to be an 8th.
Yeah.
It's like, holy cow, man.
So growth is incredible.
Yeah.
And we can't, with the recruitment and retention being what it is, we're having a hard time, because we have 7.
So, Jason, if I can ask you, what does it look like? I mean, how do we do that? I mean, just talk to me in the beer can and the whiskey. How do we actually get this done? How do we continue to attract people to this industry? I mean, is it education as they come up?
I'm going to start with the youngest brother we have here, who's been on 5 years. So,
how do we make this attractive, and how do we make it work for them to where they can live a good freaking life, a good quality of life, and also, do one of the hardest jobs in the world, be a firefighter?
Starting off, exposure. I know this is something Chad and I talked about a couple years ago.
So Chad's his DVP at Charlotte County.
Okay.
So
He's our DVP for the Charlotte County. And we talked about it. And he was like, hey, how did you find out about firefighting, wanting to be a firefighter? And I was like, if this was something I got introduced to a lot earlier, I was like, 100%. Like, I went in, I knew I wanted to be a firefighter growing up. I always saw the big trucks. I was like, this is what I want to do.
It's cool.
Yeah, I was like, if I saw the firefighters coming to the school, getting involved more into these job fairs and all that, and you're having access to that information, a lot of people might not know exactly where to even get started. Mm-hmm. So that was something, it was kind of cool to see Charlotte County doing, like recently. They were at Port Charlotte High School. And it's like just getting that exposure to the kids early on. And hey, like, there's different routes that you can go into after high school, because a lot of kids might not exactly have a plan, or it's like, no. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, they're like, I love the brotherhood. I love the camaraderie. I love the family. And if we get that exposure early on, I feel like that's something where we might be able to recruit a lot more early on. And there's been different ideas brought on about that too. I know our fire chief, Chief McElroy for Charlotte County, he thought about doing something to where, hey, we have these high school kids come in, and it's like you sign a commitment, basically, like you're kind of almost going D1 for a sport. It's like, sure, I'm going to fire school, I'm signing the Charlotte County Fire EMS.
That's cool.
And that's a lot of different routes, right? Just getting into your local communities, getting into the younger generation, because, like you said, it's there, but it's not as glamorous, it's not as advertised as a lot of these other career fields. Because, like Jason said, how do you exactly tell someone?
So we got a marketing thing. We want to market it. We got to get out there. But then, how do we go on the offense? I was talking to the farmers in the Florida Ag Coalition about the same thing. It's like, y'all play so much defense.
Yeah.
And you're always, and I hate this part of it. Like, I feel like y'all are always having to come from behind and like beg for what you need.
Yeah.
All right. How do you get on the offense and go, this is what we need?
So
What is it, a marketing campaign?
I mean,
is it
I
how do you do this?
I do feel like, not yet, but I do feel like the AI revolution is going to push a lot of males and females in the fire service, because as that takes over all those white collar jobs, I feel like the construction industry, firefighting, police,
Trades.
I feel like the trades,
Trades,
are gonna blow up.
trade. Mark my words. Trades are about to be the thing.
They're going to
yeah,
blow
but
up.
so back, I was born in '78. I'm old. Damn. So yeah, no.
That sucks. That sucks really bad.
So my father, how he got started.
Sounds like
He's Gen X.
Old Bay in
Let's
here.
go Gen X.
I'm the old man at this fucking table.
Explains the smell here.
This is what, yeah. No, first of all, I use Absorbing Junior. That's different than Big Gay. But no, seriously. But so my dad, when they were going through school,
All I heard was been gay.
yeah, they went to VOTEC. Like they would go halfway through high school and then they go to tech school, right?
Right.
And then when they graduate, they had a skill set. So my dad was a carpenter's apprentice, and he did that route because his brother, well, his older sister, husband was a carpenter, and you had to train him or something. So he did that, right? And then he ended up doing other things. We may have to start doing that where we go into high schools. So when I worked at Orange County, I had a lieutenant. His name was Mike Bonner, and when he was 18 years old in 1983, right? And I was like, because we're sitting there, how'd you get in the fire service? He was a lifeguard, right? Great shape, looking like Baywatch and shit, and was walking into a Winn-Dixie in 1983 in Florida in Orange County. And the fire department was standing out front of the Winn-Dixie and said, would you like to be a firefighter? And, like recruiting like the military almost, right? Going, join, Uncle Sam needs you kind of type shit. And he's like, looks at it and he's like, what, okay. And he's sitting there talking. He's like, well, what's it pay? And in 1983, it paid like $6,000. He's like, well, I'm making $4,200 as a lifeguard. That sounds a lot better. Where do I sign up? And they, put him through school, right? Did all that stuff. So as that's evolving, maybe we need to get back to finding these kids in high schools, like Fabrice talked about,
Right.
and say, find them at 16, 15, and 16 at job fairs and say, if this is something you're interested in, here's a program, right? Develop these programs to where they can go half days. And that may be something I have to talk to Chad Choate about and others. Start developing these programs where they go in half days. They go to lunchtime, get their English, math, and science, and history.
Read, write.
Yeah. Then go
learn a job.
Then go in to MTC, STC.
Yeah.
CTC.
CTC,
Yes.
yeah.
I went
Yeah.
to CTC growing through.
Yeah, and by the time they're done at 18, they're fucking ready to go, right? And they know what they want to do,
Right.
That's part one. Part two is, the funding for all that, right? So these schools cost money,
Yeah.
right? We provide scholarships here to others, and
Now you're talking my ear. That's going to be my job. I got to
Yeah.
go get the money.
so,
Well, I was just going to say, it's not as expensive trying to go get a college degree to go get at least hireable for a department. The other thing is, and we talked about this the last podcast, the IFF's pushing for a nationwide apprenticeship program, right? That starts with, like we're saying, in the high school levels. I'm a product of an Explorer program. They talked to me when I was 14, 15 years old. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's what exposed me to this service.
Sure.
And when I first did my ride-along, that's whether I could do this job or not. But that's the kind of thing is that while we all talk about the bad stuff that comes from this job, there's great stuff that comes from this job. We all don't, we're all not, the thing is this true, not everyone could be a firefighter. That's the other reality of it. So that we've had plenty of people come through and not being able to hack it. And that's okay. That comes with the territory. Because you're going to be exposed to some of the worst things that you can see outside of war on the streets out here. And that's reality. So being able to be exposed to that is one thing. Working with other departments to recruit these kids, maybe through sponsorships in that regard, I think it's a good way to move forward with that, especially if you're putting them to apprentices programs. So by the time they're getting out of high school, they're that entry level firefighter, and when they start in a department, they're still getting additional training to become that professional firefighter that we want. Because there's basics and then there's more. If there's one thing they don't know until they get in, is this is lifelong learning when you get into the service.
Correct.
Because there's more hazards that get put out. We're looking at EVs now.
Yeah, I know.
Methyl bad shit that they put in trains, and we don't know what the heck. I mean, you've seen what happened a few years ago in the Midwest. You know, just you never know what the next emergency is going to be, and we all are always on the, hey, we're going to figure this out, and you know, you call us. Even when it's like, oh, I don't know why the door won't open. Let me call the fire department. That's just how we've always been.
Right.
But,
and you know, he's not wrong. So part of our retention issue is people. Some of it is people get into this job and they think this is whatever it is, right? And it's been going on since I became a firefighter. They get in the job and they see something. They do something, or they almost get killed the first time, which we've all experienced, right? You get that first, fuck, I almost got toasted call, right? And they say, fuck this, I'm not doing it, right? And they back the fuck. I mean, I remember I had a woman at my station who I went to fire school with, and we got hired on in Orange County together, and I was at a busy house, so every recruit class, they always pump people in this busy house, right? So it was me, her, and another firefighter on all different 3 shifts from the same recruit class because it was a busy house. And she almost got fucking cooked. And next day resigned. Said, I'm not built for this. Like I saw her the next morning and she's like, I'm not built for this. I can't do that. It happens, right? That's part of the retention. There was an article down just south of us in Lee County written from a newspaper down there that was talking about some of the mental health issues that we have in the service, and it mentioned in that article that normal, everyday American citizens get to experience and see 3 traumatic events in their entire lifetime.
Yeah.
We get 9 a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
We get 9 a year. So you do that times 30 years, that's 270, right?
Right.
And a lot of dead
and
people.
that's the slow station.
No, so that's, you know, but what to what G's speaking to is let's get in early, right? 2, let's also identify early whether or not you're cut out for this, because that's part of the retention issue is people see us and they say, okay, that's a good job, right? And it's well respected, because there are a lot of bad things. We talked about the cancer, we talked about the mental health. There's people alive today because of me,
Right.
and my crew, and I take that with pride.
Yeah, when that 40-year-old walked out of the hospital with his 2 young children, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Does that do y'all find this? And I'm not a firefighter, but do you find that offsets some of the awful stuff?
For me, it
when
does.
when you
For
do
me, it
get to
does.
save,
Honestly,
if
it's
that's the
probably-
only one I saved, job done, brother.
it's
I don't
worth it,
care.
right? It's worth the whole thing, right?
It's probably
for me,
worth
yeah.
one of the most rewarding feelings when you actually get to
You
use
get
your
to save
skills
them.
and you see.
That's awesome.
Yes, for me it does. Now, again, everybody's built different, right?
Sure.
And so that's, even for me, as an old grizzled vet now, I've been able to put in things in compartments and guard against some of that.
Right.
But I'm built different. I know I'm built different. That's why in our organization we've built out this peer support team, because not everybody's like me, right? I've been able to just, okay, that's what we do, right? But I know I'm not that guy. The guy next to me may not be like that, right? And so we have to, 1, do better at that, but 2, identify people younger, and then get them exposed younger, so that then maybe they, because part of our retention issue is we get people on the job, and after 6 or 7 years, they're just like, I'm not built for this.
Right.
Does the
And-
fire department have a exploratory program like the police department does?
So some of them do.
So I know for Charlotte County, for us, we have the ride-along programs. Civilians will come along and we'll actually set you up on either one of the fire apparatus or you'll be on one of our rescues.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that way you kind of get to see the day-to-day of what we actually do in real life, and you'll be able to kind of get a feeling of, is this something I'm interested in, or is this not cut out for me?
And then some of our departments like Northport, Inglewood, and others, they're doing cadet programs, right? So they find kids at 15, 16 years old. You know, mom and dad come in, they sign a waiver and all this other stuff. And they get to one train with us. You know, we do ride-alongs, try to shelter them a little bit from the super bad stuff.
Right.
But get to train with us, get to see what we do, get to be, and get them fired up. We definitely, as a fire service, are starting to try to get together with our fire chiefs, especially this organization, to say, hey, listen, we got to start creating these programs because we can't do this forever, right? And that's part of why we have a recruitment and retainment issue is we're in a batch of area where we have a lot of guys who are now at 30 years, 25 to 30 years, leaving the profession because they have done their time.
Got a gap.
Yeah.
And we're, because of the growth, so we have to replace those guys, and then you
Got to replace those guys and then add about 5 more.
Yes,
Yeah,
and so that's part of the problem too. Is we're in a weird spot within the state of the fire service where guys are reaching, because there was hiring, there was Seth and G and others have been around for a while. There's a little hiring pockets where there was an increase in hiring at this time.
Well, I got lucky.
Now those guys are in 25 and 30 years, right? So now they're getting the fuck out. Right. And so
Yeah, 40% of my entire fire department will be retiring in the next 5 years.
Yikes.
40%.
that's
Yeah,
so
yikes.
Southern Manatee,
Yikes.
so Southern Manatee's in a pocket, right?
Yeah.
There's others in that we represent that are in that pocket where it's like, in addition to having to bring on extras, we now have to try to replace these dudes, and then add into the leadership issues of that. Right, that's another thing in our organization is, okay, who's the next officer batch?
Right.
Are we training the next lieutenants and captains and everything else for these bunches, and trying to figure that out too. So that's an internal thing we're trying to figure out as well.
Yeah, it's
So,
definitely a lot of moving parts.
Well,
I like what
that-
Jonathan and
that
Fabrizi
growth.
said though. But let's get them exposure. Like we're talking about back in the education. When they're in high school and they say we've gone on the offense, we've recruited some people, they're interested in the fire. All right, let's get them. Let's do this ride-alongs, or let's get them out there and they can kind of know, hey, maybe this is something I really want to do, and they may cut down on your retention rate of the people that don't make it in the first year, 5 years, whatever. All right, they did it in high school. It was a ride along program, whatever. They go, hey, this is not for me. We used to see it in the military a little bit. The the CAPS, Civil Air Patrol, the Air Force, whatever. Some of these people would want to be Air Force pilots, right? And they would want they scored amazing 99s, and they were incredible. They did all the TBAS, and they were incredible, right? And then they would get out there, and the first time they ever flew a plane, they would get up 2,000 feet in a Cessna or a Diamond, and they would go, I'm scared of heights.
Yeah.
So you wanted to be an Air Force pilot.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
And
fire
you're
service, same
scared of
thing.
heights, So sometimes just because you thought you were made out for it, and then you get in there and you go, oh crap, this is not me. So if we could get them that exposure early, I love that. It's kind of my, the same thing with like that from Florida to Florida workforce. Like, let's get kids hands on. Let's get them some more opportunities to where I think we spend so much time in the education in Florida on, just teaching kids a bunch of crap they can never use. Is all right, let them go take the ride along. Maybe I want to be a cop. Maybe I want to be a firefighter. And they go out there and like, hey, this is really, really cool. And then the second they put it on and they see one or two things. And yeah, like you said, we'll shield them from the worst of the worst. I mean, you'll see some awful, awful crap. But they go out there and they go, oh man, it's just putting IVs and people all day long. It's not me.
We definitely don't want to show it. We don't want to go to an auto accident where there's a person ejected and run a 16-year-old kid.
No,
out there.
it's no.
But you mentioned, I actually had bad experience with the heights thing, where this young lady that I knew, that my kids grew up with, was like, I think I want to be a firefighter. Cool. And we'd take her out to MTC, and she goes to get up on a 35-footer and gets about halfway up there, and I can't do this. Okay,
Right.
well, that's okay.
Totally fine.
Yeah, well, we got to,
I mean, we respect
we do-
you wanting to try.
We do this on a regular,
But
right?
we have to figure this out.
Yeah, we do that on a regular, like 35 foot. try to get on the 100-foot stick and just stand up on that thing, right? And look at the world. And by the way, that little bucket up there, it rattles.
Oh, yeah.
You're scared shit. I mean, I'm a grown ass man. I'm still like, this isn't fun. This isn't fun. That shit's not fun. Right?
Would it be more beneficial if you were able to get like how the military does in the high school in terms of trying to get the juniors and seniors more involved into the fire departments?
Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. And I think I'm very fortunate for the most part in 2546 now that we've removed some chiefs, right, Fabrice?
Bring good fire chiefs.
Yeah, we've got a good set of, for the most part, good set of chiefs here who are already talking about that, getting into high schools and stuff, because we're all in this together. And I've committed our organization to help with that. Like, hey, man, if it's a funding issue, we have ways of doing that here with our budgets and stuff, and helping the departments out, getting that stuff done. But I think that's part one. Part two is also retention issues. Like the state now recognizes that the recommended work week for firefighters should be 42 hours.
Okay.
The majority of our fire departments still in 2546 are 56 or 50 or 48, right? Which is way above that. On me to fix that in contractual processes. Right, that's on me. I'm the president of this organization. We have our DVPs and stuff, but
what are you doing? What are you doing? Get it done. I mean,
my fucking bad, bro. But
one job.
Hey, it's heading that way, bro.
Yeah. So, but we're still stuck in this. We still have some chiefs in this area and others who are getting drugged, kicking and screaming to that process. But no, it needs to happen because there's a lot of good scientific data out there now about our sleep schedules and everything else and our well-being. When you have 6, 7, 8 year people saying, I can't do this because I simply can't exist. When I go home, I'm fucking a zombie, right? I worked at one of the busiest houses in Orlando during my time there. I got home, my first day off was not a day off. It was coping with everything I had to do.
Yeah.
And that's if I didn't get mandated or some other shit, because we were short medics, right? That's a whole other animal. You can't have that, right? We have to have those recovery days, and
decompression is very important.
And the 42-hour work week is what provides that. Recognized by the state now. House Bill 929 passed 2 years ago. Recognized by the state that we need to be in 42-hour work weeks. By the way, still 2 times 104 hours more than everybody else works in a year, right? So that's still 2.5, almost 2.5 weeks more than a 40-hour employee works, but better than what we're doing right now, which is 412 hours more.
Yeah,
right. Problems, right? So recognizing that stuff. So we're pushing towards that. We're working towards that. Joe Sicking and the North River Commission just voted to move them down to a 48-hour with the goals to get to 42 hours. And we as an organization recognize that doesn't happen overnight. Like you can't just flip the switch. There's a lot of cost to that. We're helping. We're talking about it, right? We recognize that shit. But that's part of it too, is making it more attractive, because why am I going to work 56 hours a week to make the same money someone works for 40 hours?
Correct.
From home. And also, from home, and or also risk my life to do so. Like almost get cooked 5 or 6 times in a 20-year period of your life, right? And see the shit you have to see.
I agree.
Yeah. It's sexy, bro.
It's super sexy, but it also takes a unique individual, and you're American heroes. Let's put it this way.
And by unique, you mean stupid.
Yeah. Well,
no, I'm kidding.
See, I'm a politician now. I can't say this stuff anymore. But no, y'all are the American heroes. You're the front line, all right? And there's no doubt about it. And some people have that aptitude, and it's not only just retainment and recruitment and getting people into there are people that want to wake up in the morning and be an American hero, and they're still out there.
I still haven't met that guy.
And we got to want to do that. So I know we all give each other shit all the time, for working for nothing. But we need those people. We need those people that want to wake up in the morning and
well, you brought up pay.
Go to work, man. So
did we mention that?
But they should be compensated. I mean, they should be compensated.
Okay,
They should
just
want
want
for
to make
nothing.
sure I mentioned. Okay, I had to step out. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you got anything for us? Because we've been on a bit. And
That's it. Yeah,
got any questions for us?
the teleprompter is telling us we've been on an hour and 45 minutes. I think
Yes.
it's supposed to be an hour show, so sorry if we
No,
don't
it's
talk
not.
too
No,
long.
no,
But
no. We never.
we,
We've never
we
done
don't
an
have a
hour.
time limit.
We don't have
but,
a time limit.
yeah.
But no, my final thought is this. I'm in y'all's corner. What y'all have one of the hardest jobs, if not the hardest jobs in the world. I mean, you're here on the home front. I have great respect for the military, the police, and the firefighters, but y'all see some screwed up crap, and it's hard sometimes because you're right here at home. Sometimes of these people, a little bit different than the military in a way. When you're off doing something different in a foreign country, I mean, there's no doubt that that's hard on your family and everything else. But when you recognize somebody you're pulling out of a car, out of a fire, or out of a wreck, it's brutal. And these people. And so my hat's off to y'all. And I just want you to know, going forward, whatever I can do to be an ally. I know I sound like a politician, but I don't care. Whatever I can do. Our first responders are the freaking best. This organization is awesome. Whatever I can do to just be your ally. And like I said at the beginning of this podcast is my cell phone number. You all have it. You call me.
Yeah.
And I expect you to. And I also expect you to call me out. When things aren't going right, I want you to call me and be like, "Hey, Jordan, this sucks."
Oh, don't worry, we will.
Yeah. And Jordan, hey,
We're very good at that.
You really suck on that, right? So.
Don't worry, we will.
But don't pick it up on it. But my heart's in this. Half my family was in this line of work, and I've heard all the stories, and it's brutal. And my heart just goes out. And like I said, y'all protect my family, and my family is my greatest asset. My kids are my family. That's my whole world. My wife and my kids, and I put my trust in y'all. And so y'all should be able to put your trust in me to go get some stuff done. And that's it for me as the quote unquote politician. But
Well, good.
Otherwise, thank you for having me on the podcast. This was awesome.
Well, we appreciate you being here, and what you said there is kind of why you got our endorsement, right? Your predecessor, Will. So his first year in the House, we had been pushing for damn near a decade for cancer presumption, for recognition in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Will, as a freshman, stepped out against the speaker at the time and signed on to that.
It's awesome.
And then the last 2 years as the state affairs chair, as House Bill 929 does not happen without him putting that on his committee list.
Yep.
Right? So
There's big shoes to
you
fill.
got some shoes to fill.
I do.
At the same time, and his predecessor, Jim. Right. So there's a long line of first responder friendly individuals from 71.
Hey, look, there's no doubt about it. They're my mentors. They're going to teach me a lot. And but the way I look at it too is if I can add a little fire on it is, this is not a highly paid position. So if I can go up there and just tell it like it is, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not interested in going to Tallahassee to sip lattes and see my name on some door. I couldn't care less. I feel ridiculous wearing a
the
campaign.
lattes up there suck, by the way.
Yeah, well, I grew up a Gator, and so I hate Tallahassee by definition. All right, so I don't want to be there.
Perfect.
And then I almost feel ridiculous wearing a campaign shirt with my name on it because I just wish it said like "Us for y'all."
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me. So I'm going to swing for the moon up there and do whatever I can.
Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Brothers, we had a full show today.
Yeah.
I mean, we filled the table up,
Yeah.
and thank you so much for being here. And as we talked about with our members, tune in each week because we're going to have all of our friends on here. Oh, and by the way, we're going to try to make sure you're on the piano at some point.
Come to the gala. Come to the gala.
Saturday.
How well do
I
you
will
play
find
the,
a mic and get him up there somewhere.
How well do you play the thong song?
Better than you would expect. It will surprise you.
That's one of my favorite
Britney
requests.
Spears or Shania. Yeah, you name it. I got it.
All right, so at some point Saturday at Gala. By the way, Gala,
Gala, not to be
Is that
confused
what
with the
we're
gala.
calling it
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's a point on Saturday. We're going to get Jordan up on the piano.
Looking forward to it. I'll be the jester on the court, but that's my job. I work for y'all, so that's what we do.
If y'all have never heard Jordan on the piano, that is one of the best experiences ever.
All right, we're going to make it happen.
It's going to happen
Saturday.
He really wants to be my
He's
LA.
going to duel versus one of the other guys.
I will.
That's
I don't know where
happen.
you're out of. I probably know him. So they're probably going to see me walk up and go,
Randy
"Oh
Keith?
crap!"
Randy Keith.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so
They're gonna have a
all
bad.
good.
They're gonna have a bad time.
All right, brothers. Thank you so much for being on here. Jordan, thank you so much for being
Thank
on
y'all for having me.
Jonathan,
Be safe, brothers
Thank
and
you.
sisters.
good luck,
Be safe.
Next
Jonathan.
time.
We'll see you on the campaign trail.
I appreciate y'all's support. We're not there yet, so we got to
Yeah.
keep working. But thank y'all.
Yep, and we're going to sign off.
20-something thousand doors left, right, Jordan?
That's fair. That's right.
Well, you just added another 7,000. I heard 20
Ideally,
earlier.
by
do
the
it.
end of this campaign, I want to see if we've knocked over 50,000 doors.
Oh my God, I'm so tired already.
That sounds
I'm sorry,
That
did
sounds
you-
like hell.
Is drug testing allowed for this guy? I mean,
All right,
he's got to be hot.
I'll pass in a heartbeat.
all right. We're signing off.
All right,
Thank you.
see you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank y'all.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you.